Hey crafty cuties, how's it going? So this week's video is going to be a little different, maybe a bit short, but I just kind of want to show you the crochet projects I've been working on. I started them before I even made this channel, so I wasn't recording, and I feel like I didn't want to start like a process video in the middle of it, so I'm just gonna kind of show you what I've been doing, and maybe eventually when they're done I'll give you an update and show you how they've gone. So the first one, this one I am spending so much time on, like when I'm in class listening to lectures, like whenever I'm not taking notes or whenever we're like looking at people's work and like my art classes and critiquing them, I'll just be working on this in the background because I have so much work to do on it. I started it back in winter break towards the end of it, so I have been working on it for about 2.5 months. It is a pillowcase. So the first thing I had to do was crochet a big sheet because I think I read that pillowcases were like 20 by 40 inches, and that is a lot of crochet. I think I used 2.5 balls of yarn on this. Let me show you if I can. I might have to step back. So as you can see, it's really big, and the reason it's taking so long is I am embroidering a pixel art of this Pokemon Slowpoke on it. You can see I'm most of the way done by now, but I still have a lot more to go. And down here, which will be the back side, it says his name and his Pokedex number. And that's mostly just because I wanted there to be some little thing of interest in the back. Some, you know, just a little mark so that the back is not completely blank. So you can see on the back here, I have actually been weaving in my ends as I go. I know, crazy, like who does that? I was gonna be like, I'll weave my ends once it's all done, but then like at some point I had done like most of the colors except the pinks. I was leaving those to last because most of it is pink, so I was like, I'll do the little stuff first. And then I was like, there's already so many ends, so I wove them in so that they wouldn't get lost, and I've been just doing it as I go. And it hasn't been too overwhelming. If you crochet, you probably hate weaving it ends because who doesn't? But like, I was taking it as I go and it wasn't too bad. So I've never embroidered anything before except like a practice one of these on a much smaller scale. Like on camera, this looks really good because you can't really, it's harder to see all the little imperfections. But I think it's gone pretty well for like the first time I've ever tried something like this. And it has taken so much work. I started back in December. I had been thinking about doing it for a while. I probably started thinking about it back in late November because I realized that like my pillowcases are getting old and I need new ones. So I thought like maybe I could crochet one. And I wanted it to be like Slowpoke themed because I really love Slowpoke. I think it's very cute. Like first of all, this just sheet of single crochet to make the pillowcase probably took about 2-3 weeks. I wasn't working like straight through consistently, so I probably could have got it done in 1, maybe 2, but like it was, the rows are so long. I think I timed it out and it took me about 5 minutes to do a row, and I think there are 101 stitches per row, and I think I have it written down. It's 101 stitches per row and it's 188 rows, so it took a really long time to do all that, if you can imagine. I have been working on this, like the stitches and the embroidery pixel arts part, for most of it. I've probably been working on that since mid-January, and just doing all those pixels takes forever. I actually made myself a little graph in Photoshop how many pixels there are of each color, and there's the most of the dark pink, which is the color that I haven't done yet. I guess the mid pink. The dark pink is kind of like that red color. So basically I've been doing these cells, these hand stitches, in any free time that I have, or even during classes and stuff, for upwards of 2 months. I thought the pillowcase was a bit not wide as I wanted it to be, so I also made this, you can see I haven't woven the ends on this one yet, but this is just going to be a band for my pillowcase. It's going to go right next to his face like this, and this is just going to be like, you know, on your pillowcase where you have the like inch, or this is like way more than an inch, this is like 2 inches. This is like 5 inches, whatever. You have like all that space that's kind of like hangs at the end. This will basically just be to make the pillowcase longer, and then I decided to make it as its own separate piece because I wasn't going to redo the whole pillowcase, and I thought it would look like a pillowcase, like how they have that edge. I don't know really what it's called. So once I'm done with all this hand embroidery, I'm gonna have to sew this on the edge, and then I'm gonna have to sew the sides together and sew the bottom together, which, you know, it'll be a lot of work because it's a lot of stitches, but also that's probably gonna be like, that's gonna be my victory lap whenever I get to that. But it'll probably still take, I wanted to have this done by spring break, which for me is in a couple weeks, but it might still just take till the end of March. I might have the embroidery done by spring break, but I don't think I'm gonna have this whole thing done. So if you're gonna do a pixel art or something like this, what you're gonna wanna think about is that if something you're doing is like, say it's 5 pixels high, you would actually need 6 pixels or 6 rows of single crochets to work with. And this is kind of complicated, so just hang with me. So basically, as you can see, this is 2 by 2. It's 2 ups and 2 rows, but that is 3 pixels each. So it's, you start with this 1, go over 2, go over 3. Same with the way up, 1, 2, 3. So it's longer than you would think it would be. You're basically going to want to add 1 on to each direction to make sure that you have enough space for it. Let me now show you the other project that I've been working on for a while. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to hold this out as well as I probably would like to, but my other project is a big blanket. And I have never done a blanket before, so this is my first one. So let me try to hold this up as best as I can. So you can see it is a very large blanket. I have not woven in the ends yet as I'm gone because I have had to rip it out and start over once. So in case I have to do that again, I am leaving the ends. It is very big right now as I hold it, I can tell, but it is not as big as I want it to be. As I was saying, it's very big right now as is, as like I can't even fit it in frame, but I want it to be bigger. I want it to be kind of like, I have a quilt that my mom gave me, and I basically want it to be that big, and the long side that you guys are seeing, that's the bottom, like that's the width of it. Right now I'm building up the height, which is the short side. So like I can almost fit the whole height in frame, but it's gonna take a lot more work for me to fit the width in frame. I think it's only 77 single crochets, but this yarn that I'm using is so chunky. I bought this yarn back when I first started crocheting because I was like, I love this yarn, I'm gonna make a blanket with it. That was before I knew how much yarn it would take. I think right now this is 7 balls of yarn. I could count the ends that I've not been woven in and tell you for sure, but I'm pretty sure I had 10 balls of this yarn that I'd been just acquiring and accumulating because it's kind of expensive. It was $10 for the skein, and I can show you it because I have it right here. It's this Bernat Velvet Plus stitch and one that I found at Michael's. It was between this yellowish color and like this teal blue one, but I went with the yellowish one. And now they're not, I saw it on clearance at Michael's, implying that they're not even selling it anymore there. So hopefully I have enough. I have 3 more balls that I've actually put into balls because I've had them for a bit, and so I balled them just so they'd be easier to use, and so I could get the coupons out the middle, because one thing with the stitch in one is you could get coupons in the middle of them. And then I think I have 3 or 4 other skeins like this that I got from Michael's because I bought all the clearance stuff. And the reason it's taken so long to work on this is because it's kind of my secondary project. Like whenever I have other projects like that pillowcase or like sweaters, this one falls to the wayside. And also, like I said, I had to rip it out once because I didn't use stitch markers, and the stitches, as you can imagine with yarn like this, are super hard to see. Basically my pattern is 1 row of singles and then 1 row of doubles, because there is there's a pattern on this that I was gonna follow, but it was like row of single, row of doubles, row of half treble front post crochet, something like that. It was supposed to build a texture, but I tried it out and I was like, this is too much work. It's making it take way more yarn than it needs to, and I just wanted this thick blanket, and it is so soft and so warm. It is heavy. I've been wanting a weighted blanket. I'm not gonna need one. This thing weighs like, I am horrible at guessing weight, but if I had to guess, this thing probably weighs already almost like 10 pounds, maybe. Like I said, I'm horrible at guessing weight. It might be only 5, but it's like way heavier than I would have expected. And I really like working on it too. I usually, I'll only watch the Great British Baking Show when I'm working on this blanket, and it usually takes me 1 episode to get through a ball of yarn, which I guess doesn't sound like very much. A ball of yarn I think gets me about 5 rows of this, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like you can see here, this yarn is chunky. This skein is, it looks huge, it looks normal, and there's only, I think, there's only 78 yards of it. So the ball goes quick, but it makes this grow quick too. Oh, I didn't tell you when I started this blanket one. I started it almost when I started crocheting, which was back last September, maybe October. And I think I said that I restarted, but I'm not sure if I said why, because it was so hard to see the stitches. I was working in increases where I didn't need them, and so the blanket was basically one side was perfectly straight and the other side was doing this. And I said, that is not gonna fly. So I restarted. I pulled it all out, I balled up all that yarn, and I restarted. And I think even still, it does have a bit of a lean on one side. You can kind of see, like, it definitely has like a diagonal on it. And I don't think I've been working increases because I have my stitch markers in, and I'm pretty sure those are keeping me truthful. If anything, I think it might be because my tension changes. At the beginning, the foundation chain, it's really tight. And then up here, the stitches are really loose. Like, I can put my fingers very much through them. And I think that might have something to do with it. Like, maybe I've worked an increase on one side. It only happens on this one side, and that's because that's the row that I either end or start with double crochets, because like I said, it's every other. And so only the double crochet side is the one that's getting warped. So I'm not really quite sure that is, but that's the case, and I'm not gonna restart it again. At this point, I'm okay with it being a bit slanted. Of course, in a perfect world, I would like it to be perfect, but you know, it is what it is. I don't want to restart it, and it's gonna be a nice blanket either way. So those are the 2 projects I've been working on for a long time. Let me know your thoughts on them in the comment section below, and if you guys have any projects, tell me about them. I'd love to hear what you guys are working on. And if you want to know how these 2 turn out, you can probably imagine how the blanket's gonna look, and maybe even imagine how the pillowcase is gonna look. But if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Leave a like on this video, and maybe I'll show you guys how they look when they're fully completed in a month or so. But that's pretty much it for this video. Something a little different, just showing you guys what I've been doing. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for more crochet and DIY based content.